Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we will discuss about ritual theatre and stage manifestation by Ol Soyinka. So friends, let's move ahead. So friends, Ol Soyinka is a Nigerian playwright. He was born in 1934 and he was political activist too. He received the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1986 and his works were satirical in a way. So he wrote about evils inherent in the exercise of power. So friends, his dramas basically deal with primordial way of life, or which we can say primal way of life. Okay friends, so we will discuss a lot of things about him in our next video. So friends, basically when we talk about Ol Soyinka, he has written about Yoruba folklore and religion. So some of his great creations are Mad Men and Specialists, which was performed in 1970 and which was published in 1971. Similarly, Death and the King's Horseman, which was published in 1975, and it is considered as one of the greatest writing of Ol Soyinka. Next one, the Beatification of Area Boy in 1995. So friends, these are some of the great work of Ol Soyinka. Okay friends, now we will move ahead and then discuss things about his plays. So friends, drama and the African worldview. So what's African worldview here? Of course, worldview is the set of assumptions and presumptions that a person holds consciously or unconsciously about how they perceive reality. So it's a kind of assumption that we hold consciously or unconsciously about the surrounding where we live, about the area, about the environment where we reside. Similarly, worldview is affected by religion. So religion is at the core of a person's worldview. Okay friends, and without religion a person's worldview or assumptions, a set of patterns are not constructed. An African worldview is generally classified under primal worldview, as I have already told you. So friends, African worldview is generally classified under primal worldview, means they see everything from the perspective of their tradition, they see everything from the perspective of their culture, they see everything from the perspective of their primal way of living style. So friends, this is about the beginning of African worldview. We move ahead. So first, now here we will discuss about enlarged consciousness of being, universal and individual. So okay, when we talk about Ol Soyinka's African worldview, then in his writing we find he has discussed about, or he discusses about enlarged consciousness of being, means he doesn't talk only about an individual, he doesn't talk about only some group of people. His writings metaphorically and metaphysically discusses about consciousness of being, a great being, universal being, and individual. So his writings comprise the whole set of consciousness, consciousness of universe. Okay friends, so ahead he writes, in traditional African societies God is revered as being everywhere, he is omnipresent. So in traditional African societies God is considered as being omnipresent. So he is considered as he is everywhere. He is not only inside human beings, he is not only inside the statues and idols which are so prayed by people. He is in every particle of nature. Okay friends, so ahead he writes that traditional Africans believe that cosmos was created by supreme being God. Of course, like other people, like people of other religion, they believe that cosmos or universe is created by supreme being, that's God. So next we read, in most African traditional cultures there seem to be no distinction between man and the rest of the creation. Of course, in African traditional culture they don't divide the line between themselves and the creator. Okay, so they consider themselves as a part of the great universe, as a part of great chain. Therefore the soul is capable of leaving the body, since it's not viewed as encased by the human body. So dear friends, because they regard themselves and all the entities of nature interrelated with each other, they never regard that soul is also detached from the body. So soul is not detached, or soul is not something other from the body. Soul and body, they are similar things. Okay, so soul is and every entity has its own value. So soul can travel from its body, and soul can go to outside, and other soul can come to one's body. So the concept of being possessed by others spirit is also found in the African culture, as it is also found in others cultures too. When we discuss about the so the traditional culture and Yoruba culture and tribal culture, we find that they have believed in spirits possessing someone's body, because they never find distinction between man and the rest of the creation, because they believe that everything is interrelated, so we cannot distinguish between them. So everything is interrelated, and then soul is also capable of living body. Soul is found in everywhere, so soul can go and take reside in others body too. So friends, we move ahead and discuss ancestors can transfer some aspects of their souls to living persons. They believe that Yoruban people believe that ancestors live, their souls live, their spirits live, and they can transfer their some of the aspects to the living persons or to their progenitors. Okay, so people, ancestors or traditional Yoruban people believe that their progenitors or their successors should be named after their ancestors, so that their ancestor will again come and born in a new form. Okay, so friends, we move ahead and then we see the some of the themes about African worldview. Now, according to old Swenka, African dramas, they consider metaphysical intuition. It means they are not only about an individual, they are not only about society. They discuss a great topic about metaphysical intuition that makes us aware about some presence of some great divine. Okay friends, so then they discuss about, they focuses on community expression. So through the dramas and through the writing of Africans, we can know about the community expression of African people. So next, audiences is an integral part. According to old Swenka, audiences are an important part of drama performance, because without audience, the characters cannot feel as if he is acting, or as if that audiences are getting the message. So the responses of audiences, the presence of audiences, make the African drama a part, an integral part. Okay, then, okay, African writings, they talk about, they discuss about spatial vision of theater. Means friend, they discuss about something which is about universe, which is about cosmology, which is about the great chain of being. Of course, we have discussed that they talk about communal experience. Then next is African worldview rejects European habit of world redefinition as wasteful and truth defeating. So now look here, African worldview rejects European habit of world. So European habit always defines world in a new way, in a way of change. So European worldview perceives world as a medium of change. So European worldview perceives African worldview as wasteful and truth defeating. Okay, but actually European worldview itself is wasteful and truth defeating, because however developed, however civilized we become, our so culture, our way of life never gets separated from spatial vision, and then universal vision, and then communal experience. Okay friends, then of course African worldview talks about post climatic restorative of the race. So after colonialism, after modernism, how people are living after great wars. So it talks about the effects of great wars, the effects of the global warming, and the effects of the world changing. So African worldview is more about the metaphysical concept, and it talks about regeneration of humanistic faith. Of course, African worldview is about regenerating humanistic faith by showing the communal experience, by showing the family experience. It discusses about how can we regenerate humanistic faith among ourselves. So friends, these are some of the important themes discussed by Ol Soyinka in his African worldview. Now we move ahead. So friends, next he says that the concept of equality in creation of man means that in the primal worldview, status is a major issue. So of course, when we read his drama, we find that there is always description or mentioning of the status, some high class and then some low class. So in primal worldview, in African worldview, status is also major issue. Some are presented as rich and some are presented as poor, and poor are always dominated. Childlessness or bareness is considered a major taboo. So dear friends, this one is another one of the important theme. The theme of childlessness or bareness means when we read his drama, we again find this kind of motive, means repeated theme of childlessness, which reflects the infertility of our nature, infertility of our environment, which appeals us to protect the environment. It's not only about the childlessness of single individual, it's about the infertility of our nature that has gone infertile, that has gone barren. Okay friends, so it's a deep appeal about nature too. So friends, next he says that to go against the family or clan is considered a serious betrayal. Of course, in African worldview, if some individual goes against his family or clan, it means he has seriously betrayed the tradition. Next one, the banishment is the ultimate punishment. Friend, here of course, according to African worldview, banishment is the ultimate punishment for somebody, like we have seen in the Greek tragedies also. If we talk about Oedipus Rex, and if we talk about the horse and the king and the horseman, so of old Soinka, then we find the same kind of theme. Some culprit or some accused is ultimately punished. Next one, he is not removed away from everyday life like the tribal god. Means, look here, a person is not removed from everyday life. So a god is also not removed from everyday life. It means in African culture, god is there in every activity of an individual, in every movement, in every decision. So next, this he is interested in our daily affairs. Also, Inca believes that God is interested in daily affairs of Yoruban people. This means that he is not like some angry headmaster out there in the sky with a cane in his hands, just waiting for us to mess up, then we be disciplined. Okay, friends? So, also Inca believes that God is not something like a grandmaster or like a boss who controls and who is always waiting for us to get punished, or who is waiting to punish us. Okay, so God is justice. God provides justice to everyone. Okay friends, next we read the traditional African worldview undervalues women and girls. Okay, when we read dramas of Wolfswinker, we find that women and girls, they are always suppressed, their values are undermined, then they are always oppressed. Their roles are always of the women and girls who are rather suppressed. Okay friends, we move ahead and then discuss. For effective communication to happen, the communicator must see that not everything in primal worldview is wrong. So like European worldview, African worldview is not wrong. African worldview, which is primal worldview, is not wrong. Actually, even in modern times, we need them. We need to discuss about them to know the value of and to know the importance of communal experience. Okay, there are aspects that are consistent with biblical views, which should be strengthened and used as points of contact for confronting the divergent themes. So now look here, of course, when we contrast it with biblical views or European views or Western views, we find that there are contrasts between them, differences between them, but again, we have to learn something from African point of view, that we have to give much importance to community, and we have to give much importance to the universal understanding or universal phenomena of human affairs rather than an individual. Okay friends, so friends, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked my channel, then please like the video, and if you don't, then dislike it and comment it. Thank you friends. We will move in next video, so let's end it here.